All right, everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, Cat the Beefy with the Game Vault. It's 2025, and it's almost like Ubisoft and BioWare are in a race to the bottom. Let's cue up the music, and we'll get right to this story. All right, so it looks like leaked Ubisoft internal email comments on recent layoffs and the studio closures, and the company stands at the brink of financial collapse. Now, we've kind of known these things for a little while now, since I think third quarter of last year. Ubisoft has been in some dire straits. They had some serious misses last year. Skull and Bones was a big mess. Star Wars Outlaws was a underperforming, pretty bad game. The Pandora game, what was it, Avatar Pandora, Shores, whatever it was, something of Pandora. That shows you how memorable it was. Can't even remember the name. Just another Ubi slop, boring open world game. Prince of Persia had a new game that came and went without much accolades. A new live service game came out, X Defiant, and was then canceled. It's still going on now, but it won't be lasting throughout the end of 2025. It's already been set to sunset sometime this year. I think it's early summer, if memory serves me correctly. And Assassin's Creed Shadows was due to come out. That's the latest open world Assassin's Creed game. Delayed from November to February. Now from February to, what is it, March? Yeah, I think it was March. Anyway, and the list goes on and on. The Ubisoft is just suffering. So let's get into this article a little bit here. A leaked Ubisoft internal email shows the company higher-ups are attempting to explain recent studio closures and layoffs to the remaining employees. Ubisoft, once a revered giant in the gaming industry, has found itself grappling with an unprecedented wave of studio closures and widespread layoffs. The latest blow came with the shutdown of Ubisoft Leamington and the termination of 185 employees across various European offices. Central to understanding the gravity of these changes is an internal email circulated among Ubisoft employees, shedding light on the company's dire circumstances and the rationale behind these drastic measures. Prominent gaming commentators Smash JT and Endymion have provided this email and the exclusive insights found within. Now, Ubisoft's fall from grace has been nothing short of dramatic. From a market capitalization of $17 billion in January 2021, the company's value plummeted to a mere $1.78 billion by January 2025, marking an approximate 85% decline. This staggering reduction underscores a loss of investor confidence and highlights severe financial instability. The root causes of this decline are multifaceted, encompassing failed game launches, strategic missteps, mounting debt, and organizational inefficiencies. At the heart of Ubisoft's restructuring efforts lies an internal email addressed to all employees, outlining the necessity of targeted restructuring across global studios. The email begins by acknowledging the significant challenges faced over the past year and commends the resilience and the commitment of the Ubisoft team. However, it swiftly moves to the harsh reality that difficult decisions must be made to secure the company's long-term stability and future success. Wow, there's a lot to go over here, a lot to talk about. So Ubisoft has really lost a lot of good faith with its customer base over the last few years. They've been shutting down games. They've been saying that players, Guillemot says players should start to understand or start to recognize that they don't own games. We don't own games. When we buy a game, we spend $70 plus on a game. We don't own it, and they can shut it down at any time, which is wrong. We're basically just buying a license to play the game for as long as the company sees fit to support that game and to keep it active. So many games have the anti-pirating software in it that requires a constant internet connection to it that you won't be able to play it offline. It's not like the old days where you bought a game, you plugged the cartridge into your system, or you put your CD-ROM in, or your little floppy disk, whatever, and you played the game, and you owned the game, and you had the game forever. And as long as you didn't destroy the disc or the cartridge, and you had a system that could recognize it, you could play that game. Those days seem to be gone forever, and that's sad. The game's preservation the world of preserving games has changed quite a bit lately. Companies are fighting against emulators that want to preserve old games and allow you to access games that are no longer available, in the mainstream. And I get, they don't want things pirated, so to speak, or, put out there copied and all that. But, these are IPs. I get it. But, it's not like they're competing against anything. These games aren't on the market and haven't been on the market for years. What's the harm in preserving them? It's like a love letter to these companies and these games. But we're kind of getting off track here. Ubisoft's lost some goodwill by saying that we don't own our games. That's pretty blatant. That's like saying, F you, that's a big F you to the gaming community. We spent a lot of money on games. We spend a lot of money to play games. PC players, man, they're buying those new, they're upgrading their RAM, they're upgrading their video cards, their CPUs, buying new systems every, who knows how often they're doing that. Better hard drives, SSDs, this and that, bigger monitors, better, the gaming mice, this and that. Boom. Console players are getting, the better controller for it, the bigger TVs, the surround sound system for the sound, or the high def headphones. Everybody's just upgrading, spend a lot of money to play these things. These companies are putting out not only a regular edition of the game, but then they're putting out a digital deluxe edition, and then they're putting out an ultimate edition, and all these things pack different things on top of a regular game, and a lot of it's worthless. Digital art books, skins on a single player game, things that only you are going to see and sometimes barely see. I'm like, let's look at Dead Island 3. I love the game, right? And I do play multiplayer with the wife and my buddy. But, there's a lot of skins in that game. But if you just play a single-player game and you've got multiple skins on it, well, you're never going to see them. Now, I got a lot of them packaged in, I think some were Twitch drops, I think, or maybe it was Amazon or whatever, or Netflix. I don't remember. But anyway, some of them got paired with a couple different things. Some were pre-order stuff and all that. But still, it's kind of a goofy thing for what is primarily a single-player game. And you're never going to see them. It's a first-person game. It's not even third-person. It's not like I can run around and say, oh, yeah, Ryan looks pretty cool in this outfit. No, you can't see yourself in a mirror. So it's quite funny, that's the way it works in these type of games. But anyway, yeah, Ubisoft's losing a lot there. Ubisoft likes to put microtransactions in single player games. They like to tell you that you don't own these games. They like to put out several layers of games that will, upon release, will put you in $120, $130 range. They lock missions day one that are baked into the game behind a season pass or an ultimate edition or something like that. They practice all of these questionable practices that have gotten a lot of ill will from gamers through the years, and it's costing them. It's definitely costing them. They're feeling the pinch. If they don't start to fix that kind of stuff, it's only going to get worse. Now you top that off with boring, repetitive gameplay, boring mission design and stuff like that, stale open world designs with these big, and I will say, Ubisoft, you make some beautiful worlds, that's a fact. Going to these places, you take me there. I feel like I'm there most of the time. But, character dialogue and animations are a little antiquated for the most part. Mission design is mediocre. I mean, every now and then you get some good ones and all that, but they tend to be repetitive. There tends to be a lot of filler in these games, a lot of mini games within the game, sometimes 3, 4, 5 different mini games, and they just get repetitive after a while. It's like, oh, okay, now I go to this town, I have to do this game, I have to do that game, I have to do this and that. There's like 3, 4 different mini games, and it can be frustrating and annoying, especially if you don't like that type of stuff. I hate mini games in games. If I want to play a mini game, I'll buy a mini game, right? Anyway, the email details the restructuring of the Stockholm studio affecting approximately 20 roles. It emphasizes the importance of creating the right environment for future future projects to thrive, despite the painful impact on colleagues and friends. Ubisoft assures affected employees of tailored severance packages, career transition resources, and well-being support to navigate this tumultuous period. Now, expanding beyond Stockholm, the email announces similar measures in Ubisoft Dusseldorf and the closure of Ubisoft Leamington in the UK. A total of 185 employees across these locations are set to lose their jobs. Ubisoft's leadership expressed deep regret over these decisions, thanking employees for their contributions and pledging support through the transitions. Isn't that the way it always goes? This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. And then the abuse begins. So here is the full transcript of the email. Excuse me. And dear team, as you all know, the past year has been marked by significant challenges for Ubisoft and our industry. Challenges that have necessitated changes in the form of targeted restructurings across our global organization and production studios. Stop. So what they're saying there is significant challenges means they haven't made their sales goals and all that. They've been doing poorly in sales, so they need to cut some jobs out. Instead of doing other stuff, they're going to fire some of the lower level people. Now, together, we've navigated these uncertain times with resilience and an unwavering commitment to deliver exceptional games and drive innovation. However, to secure our long-term stability and future success, we must continue to make some very difficult decisions. So we all work together through this time, and we all work together to get these games out. Unfortunately, we're going to get rid of a whole bunch of you lower tier guys so that us higher tier guys can keep our jobs, and keep pushing forward. Now, restructuring the Stockholm studio. This morning we announced a restructuring of our Stockholm studio. The decision was not made lightly. However, it is a necessary step to refine the studio strategy and secure long-term stability. The Stockholm team plays a vital role in our future, and for their vision to succeed, we must recreate the right environment for their projects to thrive. So, unpacking now, and it sounds like we have a lot of jerk-offs and dead weight working there that we need to get rid of so that we can bring in some decent people, get them hired, and get that thing back on track, because right now it's a total mess. We estimate that approximately 20 roles in the Stockholm studio may be impacted. We know that this decision impacts more than just the studio and its projects. It impacts people, our colleagues, teammates, and friends. Yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory. Hey, 20 people are losing their job. Yeah, it might be your friend and all that. Just be happy it's not you. We deeply understand how difficult this is, and supporting everyone through this transition is our utmost priority. We're committed to the following: severance packages to our individual circumstances, career transition resources through an external partner to help affected team members explore new opportunities, well-being support to provide emotional and professional guidance through this time. All right, so Ubisoft is saying severance, we're paying people off so they don't sue us. Career transition, we're giving them, names of people that other companies where they might find a job where people are just as, equally woke and they can go work for them. And well-being support, we're giving them therapists and, safe spaces and all that so that they get through this time without doing any self-harm. Updates from Zone 4 today. In addition to the restructuring announced in Stockholm, similar effects have also been shared within Zone 4. In Germany, Ubisoft Dusseldorf has announced that around 65 positions may be made redundant. Meanwhile, in the UK, we will see the closure of the Ubisoft Leamington site and around 100 roles proposed to be made redundant across Ubisoft Leamington and Ubisoft Reflections. A global update on this will be available through an article on Angora, which will be published around noon tomorrow. So this means that, we kind of let our staffs build up and we got some bloat because we went through some good times there with COVID and all that when everybody was staying and working at home, getting fat and all that. Everybody was playing video games, watching movies, and just doing that sort of stuff. And now we're suffering from bloat. Got to trim the fat. Moving forward, as we move forward after today's news, I want to thank you all. Your resilience, creativity, and passion are what make our zone extraordinary. As we work through this transition, let's continue to support one another and stay focused on the path ahead. Together, I'm confident we will emerge stronger, ready to deliver on the bold ambitions we've been building. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to your manager, HR, or me directly. All right, well, this one is, hey, thanks, guys. You guys are sticking around. You're lucky you're sticking around. We're going to be stronger because we cut out a lot of the weakness. We cut out the fat. We cut out, trimmed, got rid of some of the dead weight around here. Be glad that's not you. And, if you got a problem with this, go through the right channels and all that. But really, just keep your head down, keep working, and hopefully you won't be on the next list. Anyway, this email encapsulates the difficult choices Ubisoft had to make in an attempt to stabilize its operations. However, as highlighted by Smash JT and Endymion, these measures appear to be more like a desperate attempt to stem a sinking ship rather than a strategic overhaul aimed at revitalizing the company. Amid these public announcements, influential YouTubers Smash JT and Endymion have provided a more personal and unfiltered perspective on Ubisoft Crisis. There's going to be a link in the article so you guys can watch that. In a detailed account, Smash JT criticized Ubisoft's leadership and strategic direction, describing the company's actions as a desperate attempt to salvage its once thriving empire. He highlighted the broader challenges Ubisoft faces, attributing them to a series of failed game launches, internal controversies, and strategic missteps. According to Smash JT, the closure of Ubisoft Leamington and the subsequent layoffs are symptomatic of deeper systemic issues within the company. He references strategic misfires with games like Star Wars Outlaws, along with major management issues. So, yeah, we got to agree with JT on this one. And, a lot of what's going on with Ubisoft, it was preventable. Ubisoft is where they are because they're stupid, and because their leadership is dumb, and because they embrace the flavor of the month with DEI. And I'm going to say it, and I know it's going to piss people off, and I really don't care. If you don't like it, then, leave your disliking GTFO. But DEI plays a big part in it. Not necessarily in the physical game, although you're going to see it in a lot of these games from Ubisoft. It shows its ugly head all the time. But you're also going to see it in its hiring practices, and the fact that they've got a mentorship program that promotes women and, I quote, non-binary people over other people, over men, right? Who made the gaming industry? Men. What is the primary demographic gender-wise for playing video games? Men. Oh, no, it's women 50%. No. It's not women 50%. You'll say that because you're skewing the numbers when you include mobile games. And mobile games, Ubisoft is not in the mobile game market. Okay, they're in the computer game market. They're doing computer games, console games, stuff like that. Assassin's Creed is not the same thing as Candy Crush. Okay? It's not. So you can't compare the two. So, yeah, whoever, when they want to throw those numbers out there, this is how you skew numbers. This is how you skew statistics and stuff like that. You throw in stuff like that. You change how you count things or what you consider something to be. And it's dishonest, and that's how you come up with these kind of numbers. Ubisoft brought this on themselves, and from what I hear, a lot of the people working there are fairly young, fairly inexperienced, and don't know what the hell they're doing, and that's why their games are coming out broken. That's why they're so glitchy and just not working properly, and that's why they're looking so bad. The talent is gone, and it's been replaced by these DEI hires that just don't know what they're doing. Anyway, we'll get back to this. Now with that, then we have Ubisoft. Okay, yeah, JT's talking about it. Ubisoft intends focus on DEI initiatives. Those who have alienated a large portion of their core fan base. This insane cult-like cultural overreach has directly contributed to the erosion of Ubisoft's market confidence, further complicating any kind of path to recovery. The imminent release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, delayed until March 20th, serves as a critical juncture for Ubisoft. A Black Samurai. It doesn't get any more DEI than that. So not only is it in the game, it's behind the scenes. And that behind the scenes is what leads to in the game. You know who came up with Black Yasuke? A white liberal woman. I guarantee it. With purple hair, thick glasses, and a little nose ring, looking like a little Miss Piggy with a nose ring. Reportedly costing the company an additional $20 million. The game's performance is pivotal. That's why That Park Place exclusively reported sources have indicated that the company used much of that $20 million to restructure the game's narrative and shift focus away from the controversial, supposedly historical Black Samurai Yasuke as the main character. Should Shadows fail to meet high expectations, it could trigger further layoffs and exacerbate Ubisoft's financial instability, potentially sealing the company's fate as it continues its downward spiral. Ubisoft's recent actions, shutting down studios, laying off hundreds of employees, and struggling with failed game releases, are emblematic of a company in deep crisis. Now, I've seen the marketing's changed significantly around this game. The last stuff coming out, it focused more on Naoe rather than Yasuke. Did they cut him out of the game or reduce his role? People are saying they did. I kind of doubt it. At this point, I don't think there's enough time in the time that they've been restructuring this game. They from November to March, right? 4 months. I don't think you can restructure a game that much in 4 months to to change protagonists significantly. You know, maybe a little bit here and there, but that would be a lot of work in a game in just 4 months. Anyway, the drastic decline in marketable capitalization coupled with the mounting debt and organizational inefficiencies has left Ubisoft vulnerable to potential bankruptcy, and we're looking at Tencent wants to buy them, with insiders revealing more about the company's inner workings and the gaming community witnessing the unraveling of a once mighty empire. The future of Ubisoft remains uncertain. As 2025 unfolds, Ubisoft stands at a crossroads facing the very real possibility of collapsing into obscurity unless it can implement swift and effective changes to stabilize its finances and regain the trust of investors and players alike. What do you guys think of the email, man? I mean, it just sounds like, it's typical corporate BS. You know, they fouled up and they're shit canning people left and right to make up for that, to save money. That's what they're doing. They're saving money the wrong way. And unfortunately, that's what ends up happening. These companies will do that. They'll save it in a way like that. And that's just a temporary way to do it. That's not the right way to do it. The right way to make money is to make more money, not to fire staff, close offices and all that to save money, because now your company is smaller and not able to do as much. So you can't do as much work as you used to be able to do. But and again, they may have been suffering from bloat, and they probably were. I know a lot of video game companies bloated up during the COVID epidemic, quote unquote epidemic. And so, that could have been part of it, where they talked about, cutting off some jobs. But man, yeah, Ubisoft's got to get it together, man. Assassin's Creed Shadows is not going to be a hit. I mark my words on that one. It's not going to be a hit. It's going to fall short. It's not going to be a failure. It's not going to be Concord or anything like that. Not at that level of failure. But it is not going to be a hit. It's going to underperform. People are going to have mixed reviews on it. It's going to come out with like a 7 out of 10 overall Metacritic score, maybe from the critics. I think user score is going to be 6-ish, somewhere around there. Maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, depending on how many honest players there are out there. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.